name's Colleen Foster. I'm with the City of Oceanside's Green Oceanside team. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my home. Normally we'd be having this workshop at our city's Green Oceanside kitchen, but today things are a little bit different, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to welcome you into my home and learn alongside with you on how to go zero waste at home and how to cook with the zero waste ethos in mind. I'm really excited today. We have Vallie Gilley, the Executive Director of the Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative, and also the Executive Chef. Vallie is a phenomenal chef and a phenomenal colleague that we are really excited to have at our city's Green Oceanside Kitchen. Vallie's going to take it off, give us a bunch of great recipes and tips. I'm going to be following along. Let me just let you know, I am not a chef. So I'm a beginner, I'm a novice, so hopefully we can all have a good time, and please be patient and look at Vallie's knife skills, maybe not mine. Anyways, I'm excited to get today started. Thank you for being here.
Hi everyone, welcome to Jitters Coffee Pub. We're here, I have my makeshift kitchen. It just makes it a little easier to be here. I'm so excited to be with you, Colleen, and everyone who's live today. And our first recipe is our easy peasy banana muffins. We gotta get those in the oven to get our brunch started. So I hope everybody enjoys.
Hey everybody, I'm Vallie Gilley from Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative, and I'm here to make some easy peasy banana muffins for our brunch and a crunch.
Brunch and a crunch.
So I'm going to start out with 3 eggs, a little bit of vegetable oil, some organic sugar, and some very ripe bananas that I froze. Because we're a zero waste kitchen here at OKC, we practice saving everything, and this actually makes your muffins really delicious. They're sweet and they taste like candy. So I'm going to add those in, and we're going to mix those really quickly. This is a super easy muffin recipe. I'm going to slowly add in a little bit of flour. And a little bit of salt and baking powder. And I'm going to turn it up just to get it all incorporated. That is it. So you're just gonna kind of hit off the residual. I'm gonna take a spatula and just make sure that you incorporate everything. You know, you get all that flour that sits on the side, or a little bit of baking soda powder, and you want to get that all incorporated. And that is it. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take this batter, and I have a pre-sprayed muffin tin, so it's just some non-stick cooking spray. And I'm going to use an ice cream scoop. This is your friend. And the reason I use this is, number one, it's super hard to just pour it in. You usually make a mess and you get batter everywhere. And you use this scoop, and you want to go just to there, because these actually have a really big lift, so they're actually going to come all the way to the top. But if you overfill them, you're going to have these muffins that just make a big mess. And you can add whatever you want. I like to keep it easy. You want to taste that banana, keep it super simple. But you can add chocolate chips, you can add walnuts or pecans or anything that you like, raisins, coconut. You can make these muffins however you like. Sundays are my favorite. It's my only day off, so I love to cook breakfast at home. I'm gonna make these for my friend Colleen, who's gonna have brunch with me today at her house. So all we're gonna do is put these in the oven. They're gonna take about 20 to 25 minutes. And while you're waiting on your muffins, you can start on your proteins or your eggs, get things going for your brunch and a crunch. And in about 20 minutes, we're gonna have some delicious, easy peasy banana muffins.
So the wonderful thing about show business is Vallie actually delivers the muffins to you ahead of time. So I have some beautiful easy peasy banana muffins. Vallie, are you gonna try some of these with me or what?
Sure, why not?
And again, if you still have some extra like bananas that are going bad, but you had a couple more from the recipe, you can go ahead and freeze your bananas. Your freezer is your friend for zero waste. So I've been looking at these bananas all morning and pretty excited to try them.
They're so good. I feel like
I'm not used to eating food on Zooms.
delicious. It's so
These are
simple.
wonderful, Vallie.
You know, Colleen, like bulk them up too. Like I always tell people they can add walnuts, pecans, or almonds. I mean, this is just a really basic recipe, but you can add chocolate chips or anything else. And really make
Yes. I always end up in my banana bread. So Vallie, now we've got this delicious sweet treat here. So next up.
All right, we're gonna make an avocado crema and some basic eggs. So have you turned your pan on, Colleen?
Yes, I turned my pan on, got my skillet heating up, medium warm.
If you have a little butter or oil, I would coat the bottom of your pan.
I have some butter.
Okay, so put it in your pan and let it melt.
All right, while that's melting, what do I do next?
And then you're gonna drop your eggs. 1 second. I feel
Nope.
exactly.
All right, all night I've been having dreams about like shells falling into my skillet, and I'm not that stuff.
You know what the secret is if you just crack them in a bowl first, so that if you get any shells in it, you can take the shells out before you drop them in the pan.
Oh, it's a smart trick. I'm usually standing there with the skillet like, ah!
So then once you get those going and you get your pan, you don't want it to get too hot, so you don't want your butter to brown. If you do, it's okay, but turn it down on medium, low, high, low. You don't want it to be too hot. And then once we're gonna get the eggs right now, and I'll put mine in. And then the other thing you can do is while you're waiting for the butter to melt, you can pop your avocados right into your blender.
Okay. Well, actually, I already have an avocado from last night.
Yay!
You can easily save leftover avocado. You can either eat the whole avocado, but if you've got leftover, just keep it with the seed, and it stays good in your fridge. We'll learn a little bit about that later.
All right, is your butter melted, Colleen?
I think so. Thanks for reminding me. Usually the one burning something behind me, essentially.
All right, so I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna drop my eggs. And your pan should be nice and hot so you have those whites cook right away. As soon as you see the egg white cooking, you're gonna go ahead and put your water in and cover.
How much water do I put in basting 2 eggs?
Well, I don't measure it, but it's about 2 tablespoons.
About 2 tablespoons, just like my grandma. Just put some water in. And I'm like, how much?
As soon as you pour the water in, cover them up and turn them to low.
Okay. My pan's still whitening a bit.
Okay.
You see some white, right?
Yeah, as soon as you see the egg white start to color, so you know that it's cooking, then you can put the water in. It's okay.
Okay. I just pour the water.
It's so fun.
So then I turn the pan to low, right?
And like just a little over low. I don't know if you have gas or electric. I'm on induction, so it's hard to keep it. I don't want it to get too hot. But and it should only take maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Oh, mine are almost done. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show you in a second.
Oh, wow. Well, I think mine are cooking a little bit more. But I am notorious for overcooking my eggs. We definitely the boundaries on.
And you can see them. They're completely sealed. They're still nice and wet in the middle. However you like your eggs, though. If you like them medium, if you like them hard. But the best part is they look pretty. You know, you don't have that crispy egg. You don't have that, you have to flip it over and it looks deflated. It's the perfect egg without having to poach eggs.
I've got one starting to look pretty. I think we're getting there. So how many for the avocado cream? How many avocados are we talking about?
2 avocados.
2 avocados, okay.
And you don't want to be overripe, but they don't have to be perfect. I mean, we got some windfall avocados from a Raz family farm, and some of them are small, some of them are big. It's like a little speckle here and there or a flat spot, doesn't matter. They're beautiful on the inside. How's your eggs looking, Colleen?
Right, imperfectly delicious. Thanks for reminding me on the eggs. Good. So once there's like a little bit of white around all the eggs, then it's probably done.
Yep.
Oh wow. So then I just turn the heat off, and do I leave it?
Leave the lid on it, turn the heat off, and then you can go back to the crema.
Okay.
All right, so I'll wait for you, but once we put the avocados in here, you're gonna add lemon juice and a little bit of garlic. And then you're gonna salt and pepper.
So what if your avocado already kind of has some browning going on? It's still perfectly good, right? When you blend it up. Yeah. I'm a avocado fan, so I usually don't care. I got a lemon from my tree. I harvested it this morning.
It's for my next door neighbor, so.
So I just squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in the avocado mix.
Lemon juice, avocado, garlic, salt, and pepper.
The garlic requires garlic cloves. Do I need them minced before I put them into the blender?
You want to take, so you want to take I already had mine chopped up, but you take a garlic clove, you put it flat on your cutting board and take the top of your palm with your fingers up and you hit the clove, it'll take the skin right off and then you can pop it in your blender.
I would probably mess that up.
See that? Yeah, it's just cooking.
It's a lot of pressure, Vallie. Yeah. Right? Quad, LCH, privateer. A lot of cooking for me. So
and then after you get those ingredients in, you can put your 1 cup of sour cream or yogurt, or actually you can use vegan sour cream too. So if you're vegan, like this keeps it like super plant-based.
Very cool. So lots of options.
Always.
Talking a little bit later on about what dates mean. So that sour cream is probably better, longer than you actually think.
Well, you know what's a great tip too? Sometimes I buy things and then I don't even open them. And if you flip your sour cream over the container before you open it, it works like a vacuum seal. So it will actually last longer. So it's a great little tip I learned. So it just sealed it right in. So it's gonna get loud for a second, Colleen, while I blend this.
All right. That was a cup of sour cream, right?
Cup of sour cream.
Got Greek yogurt for mine.
Awesome. I'm getting yours blended up. I'm just showing that. So I had some, you can either do some like really nice toast if you want for your eggs and avocado cream, or you can make it like Southwest or Mexican style and do something with tortillas.
What about like tortilla chips? I always buy a bag of tortilla chips and they go stale because I don't eat them all.
Oh, well, all you have to do is chop them up in a little bit of oil in your pan, fry it up, and then whip up some eggs and pour that egg mixture over, and you have like a little scrambled egg and corn tortilla. I grew up eating that, watching Gumby on Saturday. called migra. So
Yeah.
that was the dish, and it got rid of, snail tortilla chips.
What about how am I supposed to season it? I got my cream, my avocado, I've got lemon and garlic. Do I need salt and pepper as well?
For the taste. So, I kind of like things salty, but it's really up to the individual.
I was reading salt is very good.
Right?
Salt for taste.
Are you blending yet?
No, I haven't heard you blend yet. I was waiting for you. Last time I blended when we were doing the videos earlier, I forgot the lid. That was kind of entertaining. But we didn't catch that on camera for some bloopers.
I wish they would have. That'd have been funny.
I forgot my little, I always do that. I forget this guy too. So we got a little bit coming flying out.
Or you can just put your hand or a kitchen towel over it if it's ever missing.
So how long do you blend it? Just for like a minute? Does that matter?
So you see that everything's incorporated. The avocados will break down really fast because they're really fatty. And then with that Greek yogurt, it'll take like 30 seconds tops.
So in my garden this year, I grew a ton of cilantro and a ton of chives. Would that taste good in this at all?
To that. Or sometimes I even have like a little bit of wilted like pasilla chili, and I'll grill them and then take the skins off and feed them and put it right into this cream sauce. It's so good.
Ooh. And again, with your skins, your extra food scraps, we'll be talking about this in just a few minutes. Go ahead and set them aside or put them in your compost bin. I've got my compost container right here, super easy and close by. If you got to do it, you always have to make recycling and composting extremely accessible.
Bowl right here. I'm at Jitters. Make it ready to take it, put it in the compost.
So I've got the cream done. Should I try to flake the egg?
Yeah, so you just put the eggs on the plate, and then you're gonna top it with the cream sauce.
Let's see how, I'm a little nervous.
How do they look?
They look good. Oh my God, I didn't really believe you.
Don't believe me.
Now here's the real trick to get it off the actual pan.
Well, because you have water and a little fat, you should be fine. Like, it shouldn't stick, but
Yeah, you're the expert chef, okay? Okay, there we go. I'll go ahead and take one of my eggs. I think that's the prettiest one. But again, it's all about imperfectly delicious, right? So take some of the cream and pour some on top.
and I just happen to have a few green onions cut up because for our salad that we're gonna make in a few minutes, just put salt and pepper because you know me, I like salt. And there's my egg on toast. Or you can do it on tortilla. You can eat it just like that, or with your salad that we're gonna make.
Ooh, this is looking kind of tasty right here. I can use my tortilla chips for this a little later.
Right?
So did I lose my fork? I think I lost my fork. Let's not stick in here. All right, so we're really trying this right now?
Go for it.
Well, experience. Cooking on Zoom. I've been having meetings on Zoom for the past 3 months like crazy. I like the taste of the lemon.
It's good, right? Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's delicious. Wow, thank you so much, Vallie. I'm gonna have this next weekend, and I'm gonna have to finish. So while I enjoy this deliciousness right here, why don't you go ahead and check out a video we've got about how to go zero waste in your kitchen. So much can be done by simply learning to shop smarter and simply learning how to properly store and process your food. So check it out with our Green Oceanside team. Well, welcome to my home. We're going to be talking about how to go zero waste at home. A lot of waste in the home actually happens with how we're eating food, how we buy food, and how we store food. So we're going to learn some tips today on how to properly store our food and how to enjoy it. Because basically we want to feed people and our families, not the landfill. So Monica, why don't you take us along?
So the ways to try and avoid having to go to the grocery store all the time is to know how to store your food once you get home. So one of my favorite things to do is always keep my tomatoes on my counter, because that way I can keep the sugars in place and they're just as delicious as when I bought them initially.
Because when you put them in the fridge, you can actually, it starts to lose the sugar in that tastiness.
They're
right?
not as delicious because they lose their sugars. They can get a little mealier when they're in the fridge. And so I like to keep them on the counter. Sometimes they get a little wilty. If that happens, I can add them to a pasta or a sauce.
You can also roast them.
We can always roast them and preserve them that way. That's an excellent addition to a sandwich, by the way. Sometimes our tomatoes don't always look as beautiful, but often those are the most delicious and interesting flavors that you get. So
and perfectly delicious,
yes,
aren't we all?
Don't avoid. Always go for it. Okay, so another thing to remember is our stone fruits, and that includes an avocado because it has a pit inside. So oftentimes when you get them at the grocery store, they're a little warm, they're a little firmer, and so you don't.
Or like you have a bag of unripened fruits,
or
avocados.
You have a full bag of green avocados, and you can't eat them immediately. So you can either ripen them straight on your counter. That can take a little while sometimes. So a quicker way to ripen stone fruit is actually putting them into a brown paper bag. So I'll put both of my peaches in here. I'll seal it
Can
up.
you put an avocado with the peaches?
So I usually separate them just because they ripen at different rates.
That's true.
But you could. They're all going to be ripening from the gases kind of being trapped in the bag. So you could just make sure you keep an eye out. Check it every day. When you do have a ripe avocado and you don't necessarily want to eat the whole thing, I always just cut off the portion that I'm going to eat. So
I could probably eat the whole thing easily.
I know.
Hey, moderation is key, right?
I know. Sometimes you just want a little bit, right? And so for storing the rest of it, I keep it on the pit, and then you can put it into an airtight container. You can put beeswax over it. You put that in the fridge. And then you put it in the fridge. You can also freeze avocados. So if you get a whole bunch of them all at once and you want to freeze them and add them to a smoothie later, that's another option.
Excellent.
So that's kind of our counter items. Now, citrus and apples both can stay in your room temperature environment. They can stay on the counter, but once they are ripened, you might want to add them to the fridge. That'll keep them there longer. When a apple gets a little waxier, you can still eat it. It might not be as crisp and delicious to bite into, but what I like to do is make applesauce with it. So just boil and mash and you have a delicious applesauce.
That's perfect. Perfect for the babies.
Oh, exactly. Also, you can always add it, and we'll talk about that in a second, to your potatoes. Okay, so with citrus, I add this to my crisper when it's ripe, and my lemons will stay delicious and useful for weeks.
So when do you know when it's ripe? Is it when it's like squishy and starting to get soft?
Yeah, so it's just, you can feel there's a little bit of...
And this is a perfect looking lemon.
Yeah.
I have several lemon trees, and a lot of them have imperfections and spots, etc. Just clean it off, and it's good and tasty.
Yeah, give it a good scrub and you're good. Okay, so then there's items that we should probably keep in the fridge to stay good as long as possible. So one thing I like to do with beets is when you get them, they have all of these beautiful leafy greens on them. And those are edible and totally delicious. So the first thing you're going to want to do is separate your leafy greens from your beet root and throw this into, you could put it into a salad. You might want to massage it a little bit. Okay, and so another thing to store properly in the fridge is a bell pepper. So you can put these straight into the fridge, but I do recommend putting it into an airtight container. And so that's where something like a silicone bag can be really useful, and you can put it straight in here. However, if you find yourself not using your bell pepper as quickly as you'd like, you could also cut it up and add it to your freezer. So I'm just gonna make a few slices in here, and I will pre-portion it, add it to my freezer bag, and then I have quick fajitas whenever I want them. So it's a really quick, simple way to saute and keep your summer produce for all year round.
So potatoes, tomatoes, kind of the same,
Potato, potato,
right?
right,
So
exactly.
Sweet potatoes, are they stored in the same way?
Okay, so we would store our, our waxy yellow potatoes together. You could store them with a russet or something like this as well. And I like to store them in brown paper bags as well. So what's important to remember with potatoes is that they should be stored in a cool, more humid environment that's dark, because when they have sunlight, that's where they're going to start to encourage sprouting. So that's why I put them in my bag and then I put it into my pantry. Now you want to keep them kind of separate, because an important thing to remember with potatoes is that they should never be with an onion.
Oh, so this is what happens when they're with an onion.
Exactly.
Or it's been a couple months. But the cool thing is you can still eat this guy. This is a wonderful sweet potato here. All you need to do is actually cut off the sprouts from the sprout bottom and be sure to wash it really well. And it's still perfectly edible. And there's also things you can do. You can actually grow some of the sprouts. You just take a piece of the potato where the sprout is started and you can cut it and put it in your garden. So Vallie, what's next? Are we going to be making, I think, the zip code salad? Are we going to be getting that together?
Yeah, we're gonna make that. So tell me when you're ready and we can start talking about what to put in your salad.
Well, I'm all set. I've got my fridge down here. I've got some leftovers from recent meals. So again, the point of zip code salad was basically just trying to make something out of whatever you have in the fridge, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, also, I think I was reading an article this morning. The easiest way to also go zero waste is when you do go shopping, definitely plan before you go shopping. But when you pack your fridge, bring forward all the stuff that's like older. So put the new stuff towards the back and bring forward stuff that you need to eat right away. So the other day, I scrambled up some eggs, kind of made like a Southwest eggs thing. So I went ahead and chopped up some bell peppers. I chopped up more than I needed. So I guess for my zip code salad today, I've got bell peppers, chopped up bell peppers, onions. I've got it in my silicone reusable bag because, again, we need to say no to squishy plastics like, snack baggies, etc. Those belong in the landfill, or better yet, they don't belong in our kitchen at all. So I've got some bell peppers. I have half a cucumber from the cucumber sandwich yesterday. I went here. Scrap, so would that work?
Yeah.
I do have some leafy greens, and I've got some kale. So does any of that work in regards to?
I made like a kale and veggie stew, so I have some carrots that were already cut up. I have some kale left. I mean, right now it's summer, so many green onions. I actually have a trail mix in my silicone bag, like, not enough for me and Clayton to eat, but enough to top the salad with. A little bit of cheese, so I just cut it up. And I had a half a cucumber. I have some tomatoes, and then also I had a little bit of celery that was stuck in the back of my fridge that I didn't realize was back there. So I actually love this part. A lot of people, it gives a lot of celery flavor, so I'll put this green in salad. But if you don't like it, some people just aren't into it. I would keep that Ziploc in my freezer and I fill it up with like the carrot tops and the onion bottoms and the parts that you don't like. And then when it's full, you can make your own veggie stock.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. There's honestly, there's very little we need to compost if you really think about it, because there's so much you can do with the scraps. I do have one quick question. So Fraser Farms had a really good deal on organic carrots this week. What do I do with the carrot tops? I know I didn't throw this away and I do not need to compost it. So I know you guys.
I love it. You can put it also in your veggie broth, but also I take some of those, I clean the greens really well. I take the stems off and put those for sure in my stock. But the greens you can add to whatever kind of pesto you want to make. So it makes it really like earthy, and so you can add that little bit of basil you have and that little bit of parsley. Or you can even make a chimichurri with a little red chili flake and some oregano. So utilize those greens. Don't throw them out. It's delicious.
Maybe we can get some good recipes from you and post it at greenoceanside.org or your website, OKC. That would be fun.
Do you have some kale left over?
I do. Actually, I have some kale. I've got lots of kale today.
Oh, great. So I'm going to show you a little trick really quick before we start the salad that I like to put a little olive oil on my kale before I start the salad, and I like to massage the greens so it breaks down. It's easier for digestion and overall taste. And so I massage those greens a little bit, salt and pepper it, and then put it to the side, and then get making the salad.
Now, how do you massage the greens? Someone said massaged kale on a menu once, and I had no clue. I just
Well, they're breaking down that fibrous, so you're just massaging, literally massaging the green.
kind of just give it a little bit of love, right?
No, and you can put a little lemon juice. Like if you just want to make a kale salad, like if you're food prepping, the kale, it will hold up. It's like one of those salads you can dress and eat it for a couple of days. It won't break down too much. But it can be on the stomach if you don't massage it.
So I tend to not eat kale that much. I try to. I like it when it's cooked in wonderful, delicious sauces, sauteed. I always find sometimes my kale goes bad before I'm ready to cook it. So I also tend to roast them eventually to make kale chips. And that seems to and taste good. So
I like kale chips.
So I just kind of massage it a bit and put a little bit of olive oil in with it.
Just give it a good massage. And then we'll get over to our salad. So I'm just gonna, I like mine pretty chunky. So I'll just take those carrots that I obviously cut for big, like I made a soup. So I'll cut them into smaller pieces. And super simple. I had some green onions. We made tacos the other night, so they were in a little silicone bag. So I'll put some of those in my salad. And whatever you don't use, you can throw in your stock. Let's say you've had them for a couple of days, or you can take those bottoms and put them in a can or any kind of jar, and you can actually regrow those green onions. And these were grown inside in my kitchen, not outside, but you can do both.
Oh, that's cool. I've got a ton of green onion this year in my garden. So, and you need many.
Put the carrots in.
Freezing them. How would you freeze them?
What did you say?
What about freezing green onions? Like, how would you freeze them?
Well, so you could freeze them in olive oil, and just make like a little like in those ice cube trays, like a silicone ice cube tray. I have one right here.
Okay, cool.
You can just blend them in your Vitamix or just chop it up in a little bit of olive oil and freeze them. And you can keep them and use it for any recipe, especially when we're not in summer, you know, when they're not growing everywhere.
Yeah. I'm trying not to get my fingers on Zoom. Trying to listen and chop together.
So I'm going to put some of these celery greens in mine because I like it. So
Cucumber.
I'll use some of those greens. I got my kale.
I'm definitely not a pro at chopping carrots. I'm hiding my chopping skills here.
I made sure that when I came on today, like I just had a regular old knife, not like a fancy or chef's knives, you know. I'm not trying to I'm not using anything crazy. If you have a Vitamix at your house, you don't need to use a Vitamix. You can use any kind of blender or one of those little drink mixers will blend that avocado crema. You can keep it really simple.
I usually have fried veggies in my toddler's meals. So I'm using my blender a lot to hide my veggies. So what are we doing for dressing? I mean, again, I'm lucky. You made some dressing ahead of time for me. But are you going to show us how to make your wonderful dressing and your tasty croutons that I've already been snacking on?
Yeah, we have this great mason jar dressing, and we made it at the Green Oceanside Kitchen demo kitchen earlier. So we're going to show that video right now.
Hey guys, Mike Perez back at you again with Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative here at the Green Oceanside Demo Kitchen. We are working on a recipe for brunch in a crunch. This is our lemon zest mason jar dressing that we're cooking up mixing up for Colleen Foster. She's making the zip code salad, and let's get to it. I'll show you how we do this. First thing we're going to do is get 1 clove of garlic. You're going to want to kind of smash that, and then you're going to want to mince it.
Brunch and a crunch.
And this recipe just calls for 1 clove. Fine mince on that. Uh-oh, we got an escape artist over here. Lemon's trying to jump off. They know what's coming. They're scared. We've got our olive oil in a mason jar. And essentially all the ingredients here are going to end up in this mason jar. Over here, got some fresh zested lemon. And we've got our honey, locally sourced honey. We're going to throw that in. And I'll show you in a second. This is a really good honey, but you know, sometimes your honey crystallizes and it gets kind of stuck in the bottle. You can't get it out. I'll show you a quick little trick to not let that bring you down. All right, we got all that together. This one you're going to want to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to taste. Okay, so you put everything together right there. Put your lid on it. This is where you can ask whoever's in your house to turn on your favorite song. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something. We got to put some lemon juice in it. It's not just the lemon zest. You got to get your juice, all the acid in there. Try not to get any seeds. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Good. Now the music comes on, right? And you shake, and you dance, and you shake, and you dance. There you go. Colleen, I think you're going to enjoy this dressing.
Hi, my name is Felix. I'm the chef here at the Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative. Today we're gonna do croutons.
Brunch and a crunch.
I found some bread in the freezer, so I pulled it out a few minutes ago. And this is we use this bread for something else, but this time I'm planning to eat salad this weekend. So we're gonna do croutons. All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna dice this bread in about 1/4 inch. So we're gonna do about 4 cups. And this is very simple recipe, you know, just using anything you have in your kitchen. You can put any kind of flavor. To me, I'm just gonna do just a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic barley, and I found a couple pieces of fresh parsley. So we're gonna throw some parsley in there. Right, so that'll be enough. Dust inside too. Remember, we are zero waste. All right. Got some oil, about 2 tablespoons. Olive oil, some salt, black pepper, garlic granule. We're gonna chop some fresh parsley, and we're gonna take just the leaves. The stems, we're gonna save the stems and we're gonna throw them in the freezer. We're gonna use this for vegetable stock. Okay. Go. This back. Move this a little bit. Like I said, you can use anything you want. Don't be afraid to be in the kitchen and cook, do whatever you want. The most important thing, don't cut yourself. Besides that, you can do whatever you want. There we go. Right there. We're gonna toss it a little bit. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. See? See? It's getting beautiful. Look at my pan. Look at that. See? Look at that. Ooh. Beauty. Then we're gonna throw them in the oven. I got the oven preheated on 375. Throw them in the oven for about 7 to 8 minutes. All right, guys, our croutons are ready. Right here, look at that, nice and beautiful. We put the crunch in brunch.
So we've got the salad mixed up. The croutons looked amazing. Hope you guys got some good tips on what to do with your old bread. So I've got my croutons already mixed in my salad. I've got a little bit of Vallie's wonderful salad dressing here, and I'm gonna throw in my salad. So Vallie, I always try to figure out like how much dressing I should put on relative to the amount of salad. Like sometimes I overdo it or I don't do it enough. Do you have any tips on that?
I like less is more. I like to just lightly coat it, and then I put the extra on the table for whoever wants more. Because I'm not really a dressing person, but I am a texture person. So I love chopped nuts and, like I said, crunchy things inside, and especially Felix's amazing croutons. Which, like I said, this crouton mix, Colleen, that we made for you is it has sourdough, it has multigrain, it has some rolls, a lot of things that we didn't use, and just the butts and the ends of the bread, which make the best croutons. So I just add those in. And I always keep some on the side too, because I don't like them soggy. That way you can add more as you go along.
I love snacking on croutons. Speaking of snacks, I always end up with like a quarter bag of goldfish because I have a little daughter. So I guess technically if I didn't have croutons, I could put some like crunchy goldfish in here for that crunch. You're right. Use whatever we've got in the pantry. So we got.
I think it's perfect. I think it's great to use that.
All right, I'm gonna try my salad here. Oh, am I supposed to like salt and pepper it up a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you know, everyone likes. I like more salt again. I like it salty.
You are a bit of a salty woman, Vallie. Wonderful. So what is next up on our brunch menu? Or actually, before we get to the next and the final item of our brunch menu, which happens to be a cocktail or mocktail, depending on what you're doing today, we're going to actually transfer over to a video that's going to show some quick tips about vermicomposting. So again, Green Oceanside, we're bringing these video programs to you to help teach you how to go zero waste, not only in your kitchen, but also what to do with your food scraps after the fact. The zero waste, we always start with the highest and best resources. So obviously we want to feed people, not landfills. And then it's all about recycling at the end of the day. So check out how to vermicompost, compost with worms, and I'll see you shortly. Hi, my name is Colleen Foster. I'm with the City of Oceanside's Green Oceanside team.
And I'm Annika Anderson. I'm with the city's Green Oceanside team as well.
So we're going to be talking about composting. And a lot of people think about composting. It's all about backyard composting. To be successful with backyard composting, you need to learn how to prepare your food and basically your compost food scraps in the kitchen. So if you're doing backyard composting at home, I recommend just compost your veggie and your fruit food scraps, whether you're doing static composting or vermicompost. To ensure the best type of food product for your compost bed.
When it is time to actually cook, the first thing I always do is keep my compost pail with me so that wherever I am, it can be easily added into it, and I can be chopping away and know that I'm going to be putting all the scraps appropriate into the compost bin eventually. So one thing that I do, if I don't want to add it to my compost pile, is a lot of vegetable scraps could actually be added to my eventual stock that I'm going to make. So one thing that I like to do with carrots as well as onions and celery is while I'm cutting them up, I save a lot of the outside. And you can actually add it straight to your stock if you're ready to make it right then. If you aren't, I recommend adding it to a freezer safe container and then just start collecting what you're going to be using eventually, and over time you'll have a large amount and you can just add it to your stock container then and boil it for a day and you have delicious, wonderful vegetable stock. So when we're chopping up our bell pepper, obviously a lot of this is really delicious and we can add to our stir fry or our salad. So really the only material that you're going to be putting into your compost pile is this part or the seeds right here. So if you just add it to your little container that you have next to you while you're working, you can easily put that into your fridge or add it to your compost pile. Or what else? How can we manage that best for the vermi system?
So for vermicompost, the worms, they basically like it when it's really chopped up nice and small. So before you might put it into your compost bin to take out to your backyard, to your actual vermicompost bin, actually a great way to do it is to just blend it, right? So right here I've got my bowl of my food scraps. I want to make sure you take the stickers off. So a lot of times people forget this and they leave the stickers on the food scraps. So whether you've got a curbside food scrap recycling program or you're composting at home, be sure to take those stickers off your food product. So you've got all this food scraps left over. You go ahead and just put it in your blender or Vitamix here. So just blend it up. So just do a quick blend, and either you can go ahead and put it right away into your bucket to take to your vermicompost bin, or if your worms are not hungry yet, so you've already got some food product in there, you can go ahead and put it in a freezer safe container and keep it in your freezer. And just feed your worms as they need their food. So really there's some easy ways to manage your compost. You can manage it in your freezer or take it directly to your compost bin.
And of course, if you don't have a Vitamix or something similar to blend it up, you can always just chop into smaller pieces while you're working.
Again, there's easy steps to get ready for composting. Composting's very simple, and just check out greenoceanside.org, and we've got a lot of great resources on how to compost at home. This is a program where Oceanside residents can get compost bins for free.
And once you have enough food scraps, you can now add them to your vermicomposting bin. So all you're going to do is just come out to where it's nice and shaded, make sure your paper is moistened, and find where your worms are. Add the scraps, cover them up with the paper, and then close your bin. And now they'll be eating delicious food scraps all day.
I think you guys just learned a little bit about food scraps and vermicomposting. I'm really excited to announce the City of Oceanside this summer is going to be launching its free residential backyard composting program in partnership with AgriService. So please visit greenoceanside.org. Basically, Oceanside residents will be able to take advantage of free static compost bins, free vermicompost bins, as well as an array of resources and educational materials. So lots to learn, lots of great things you can do. And again, zero waste always begins at home and really begins with you. So I've got my wonderful zip code salad, which I've already been snacking on. We did our eggs, we've done our cream, croutons, salad dressing. Again, so many wonderful things that we can create in our kitchen and really create it out of things you have, and things that maybe are starting to go to waste can be turned into deliciousness. So I think, Vallie, the final thing that you were going to show us is how to make a mocktail or cocktail for your brunch. You want to talk a little bit about that? I've got my freezer fruit cubes. You want to take this over?
So I had a few ideas because I like orange juice, but I'm not an orange juice drinker, and I don't really drink that much. So I always have this dilemma too. Like, we get down to the last bit of orange juice and nobody drinks it, or, we have a lot and we make it, we just end up with a lot of juice, and I don't want to throw it away and it's getting close. So I have these trusty silicone trays, and that's what I made. I poured the orange juice in there, or a little bit of green juice that's left. Same thing. And I was telling Colleen earlier that, you know, the green drink is great because if you don't want something sweet, it's a little sweet, but it has like lots of kale. You can blend your own kale in your Vitamix or any of your greens, put a little ginger or a little lemon, and you can have like a really refreshing spritz. Same with the orange juice ones. You can turn it into a mimosa if you want, or some sort of, you know, alcoholic spritz, or you can just put in some sparkling water. You can actually, Colleen, you said you have a little garden, so you can add in some fresh mint or some cucumber slices and really make these drinks pop.
So you make little ice cube trays because you can basically pop it out, right?
Yeah, you just pop them out. After they freeze, you pop them out. What I do though is when it's juice or fruit, they can get like a little, you don't want to leave them in here. Once they're frozen, I would put them in your silicone bag or in some sort of freezer safe container, and then you can just use them whenever you want.
So for our cocktail today, I've got your fruit ice cubes and then your green drinks ice cubes.
Yeah.
And then sparkling water. I don't have champagne today, but another day maybe. So what would I need? Do I blend it or?
Well, to make the ice cubes, I gave you some fruit ones, and so what I use is I had like 2 really ripe plums and a few blueberries and like a few kind of not so beautiful strawberries, and I just with a little bit of water blended them into a puree, just enough to get it loose. And I made the ice cubes, but also you mentioned, Colleen, that you have a little toddler, and I was going to let you know that you can blend any kind of fruits and vegetables like that. And instead of using these non-recyclable, like baby food containers, you have these, you showed me these wonderful, like reusable containers to make your own baby food for your little one. And I thought that was
Those are amazing. Those squeezy packs are not recyclable, and our kids just like to eat on the go, and so it's neat when you can find reusable options. And there's so many options out there. So I just pour a little bit of water in the blender with, I'm doing the green drinks for now. I think I need some.
So anyways, try that drink. And then, like I said, you can just, I'll do this one with the spritz with the fruit. And so you have 3 very individual drinks. And like I said, you can make them adult beverages if you want. You can add a little gin or a little Prosecco and maybe a little bit of bitters. And hopefully down the line, as we do these educational classes, we can teach people how to make their own bitters and their own extracts by using what's left over, like orange peels, lemon peels, lime. We actually
Classes in our future, Vallie, at the Green Oceanside Kitchen. So I'm excited to go back there.
Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative is super big on, you know, preserving every little bit we can, and partnering with you guys has really made us step up our game. I do have one surprise for you though, Colleen. You know that coffee that you might have left over in your pot every day? I just have a jar that I keep, a mason jar in my fridge, and I just add the little bits every day if we have any. And then when it's full, I'll make ice cubes in those silicone trays, and then I just add my non-dairy milk or whatever you want. You fill it up, and you just have this nice little light cocktail or not cocktail. You could make it a cocktail actually, but you just add this in, and as the coffee melts into there, you have like a little light latte or, you know, cafe.
A blended, you know, coffee drink. You know me too well about my ice drinks, Vallie.
And you can make, remember when I said you can make your own extra, if you like vanilla. I do a lot of baking, so I'll use the vanilla, you know, the seeds inside. You take that pop that's left over and you put it in a jar with vodka, and in a few weeks you have beautiful, natural vanilla, your own vanilla extract. So there's no need to waste any of that.
And there's so much you can do in the kitchen. That's one of the things I really do love about zero waste. I think from a sustainability perspective or from a climate action perspective, the wonderful thing about zero waste is it's attainable by anyone and by any family. You know, your socioeconomic status, whatever it may be, zero waste in a lot of ways actually can help you save money. So it's definitely, to me, I call it kind of the entry to sustainability, and you can have profound impact. And that kind of actually goes to why we created the Green Oceanside Kitchen. I know someone in the chat room asked, why the Green Oceanside Kitchen? Why did the city develop this facility and is now engaging in culinary arts training? Essentially, the city of Oceanside committed to zero waste as a goal almost a decade ago. And the only way to achieve zero waste is to really use all of our resources in the highest and best use. And the majority of household waste actually happens in the home. And unfortunately, the majority of that is actually edible food waste. So 40% of what we throw away today is food. And over 20% of that is still edible. So we need to change that. And so essentially, that's why the city eventually, as part of our infrastructure plan and our programming plan for zero waste, developed the city's Green Oceanside Kitchen and built that state-of-the-art commercial facility that not only accommodates food recovery as well as feeding people, but it also accommodates culinary training, because we want to teach, along with Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative, the next genre of chefs to be sustainable, and we want to teach our families how to be more sustainable within your home. So it's been a really exciting journey. I'm really excited to be here with you today, Vallie, as our partner at the Green Oceanside Kitchen. So this has been a lot of fun. I've got my green drink. Can I blend it up, I think? Got my spritzer in there. All right, I've got my fun Sunday cup because it is Sunday brunch. Enjoying my cocktail or my mocktail for today. Still have a lot of gardening to do later on. And some actually. So again, we're also talking all about zero waste. So I've got my reusable straw. Say no to straws. Use reusable ones instead. And I'm ready to start my day.
So Colleen, we had a few questions actually. One of them was, what's the egg alternative? So in baking, you could use flaxseed or applesauce. So for like the banana muffins we made today. And then with the basted eggs and the avocado crema, I mean, really that was just a brunch idea, but you could take some beautiful heirloom tomatoes and some wilted spinach or greens and then put that avocado crema or like a braised tofu or anything that you wanted, any kind of plant-based alternatives. We just happen to use eggs. I also have my Love Punch straw here. So
I'm thinking of tacos like every other night. So I'm thinking of saving my leftover crema for some taco night coming up.
as long as you put like maybe like your the wax cloth that you had, or make sure you seal it and the lid goes to the top. It'll last for 2 days. I mean, no, it doesn't last for 2 days at my house because we eat it all that day. But we're able to preserve these things. That's why I said you can make that salad, pre-make that salad, and keep the croutons and the dressing on the side, and then just make your salad for the next 3 days, and it won't wilt or
you put the creme in a container to go all the way to the top of the lid, so you don't want any air or gap in there, because that's really going to speed up the decomposition process, right?
Yeah, that's what happens. And if you get a little bit, you can just scrape it off and put it in your compost. I mean, you didn't add any extra fats or any vinegar. It's just lemon, garlic, and the avocado, basically, and salt and pepper. So it's
very cool. Very cool. Well, do we have any other questions in the chat room? I know that we're going to be sending an email to all of the registrants that will include all of the recipes. We'll also include a survey so we can get feedback. Again, thank you so much for your patience. This is the first time we've done it. I know we're going to get better over time. I look forward to either seeing you virtually in Green Oceanside classes or in person at the Green Oceanside Kitchen. So thank you so much, Vallie, and thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thanks for being a good partner with Oceanside Kitchen Collaborative.
Thank you so much.